From the other side of the aisle right now, minors who've crossed the border are being housed at military bases in Texas, California, and Oklahoma. 1,200 are being sheltered at Oklahoma's Fort Sill alone. But on Monday, Oklahoma Republican Senator Jim Inhofe and 6 of the state's U.S. representatives said the government should reconsider using the fort as a stopgap solution to housing these children. Senator Inhofe joins me now. So, Senator, good morning to you, sir.
Well, good morning, Chuck.
Well, let me ask you, what do you know, at this point, we're in a crisis. What do you do if Oklahoma doesn't want them? What do you do with these kids, since Congress is still trying to figure out how to give the tools to the DHS to try to speed up the deportation process? In the meantime, where should they be housed, if not here?
Well, first of all, I think we're overlooking the obvious here. I went down and talked to these kids. At that time, they just arrived. There might have been 300 or 400. I do reasonably well speak Spanish, and I talked to them, even though they tried to keep us from doing it. These kids were here in this country at the invitation of the president. I think everyone knows it. Nobody says it. But they were down there in these countries. That means that during his DACA, the Deferred Action Childhood Arrivals, he's making it sound as if, come here, we'll take care of you. And they all believe this, Chuck. I know you don't believe it, but they do. And so these kids are all piling in. Well, no, these kids are piling into Fort Sill right now. We're understaffed down there. We're trying to rebuild a barracks. And so the commander told me that they had agreed with HHS, we have to house these people, but we can't do it beyond October. They promised they'd leave by October. Where are they going to go? HHS doesn't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. I'm just saying that you have to set up something until the president reverses this decision and makes some kind of a comment. You don't want to take the risk of crossing all the way through Mexico, risking your lives and all this to come to this country. And when you come here, you've got to obey the law, or we're not going to let you in. That would stop it, Chuck. That would stop it.
Well, obviously, you know, the president's not going to reverse that. We got a crisis here, right? I mean, he seems to be, you know, they seem to be, they have made that pretty clear. Now, on the 2008 law, which of course seems to hold up the deportation process in this case because of the asylum issues that have to be dealt with before a deportation can happen. What is going on in the Senate? Do you think a compromise of some sort on the 2008 law to at least speed up the process?
Well, okay, I think people have to understand what the 2008 law was. That passed by unanimous consent in the Senate. And people are saying, well, you voted for this. Well, it passed by unanimous consent, but that was to correct a problem, Chuck. That is, you know, slave labor, sexual assault, all these things, and that was the reason for that law. That's not the case here. And I don't think that law has application. I think we could go through a deportation.
You don't think it does?
No,
you think we can do this without it? How?
I think we can. Well, I think it's the will to do it. After all, you say, how can this happen? You know, how could they have turned loose, you know, 5 of the real terrorists when that was violating a law directly? I think this can happen, and I really believe that the president has to make this decision. We can deport some of them. The ones I talked to, I've got to tell you this, Chuck, because I talked to them individually, and I speak enough Spanish that I could do this. All of them were programmed to say that they had relatives here, they were invited to come up here, they're going to stay here. At the same time, they say, the HHS says, we're not going to send them back. And so long as they have that assurance, more are coming in. Right now, that 12,000 at Fort Sill is up to 1,200 is up to 1,400, and they're now saying that we can't close them down in October. They're going to have to stay to at least January. Well, you know, that is very disruptive on the mission that we have trying to carry out in our military. Our military's got problems enough right now without taking on this burden. And I'm going to be there to try to help them.
Is there legislation? Can you support giving the administration more money to try to deal with this if it is about speeding up the deportation process?
The answer is no, because the president doesn't need more money for that. What he needs to do is reverse his position so that we don't have these people continuing to come in. It's one thing to deal with the ones that are here now. The other is to stop the flow that's coming in by invitation of the president.
All right, Senator Jim Inhofe, Republican from Oklahoma. I'm going to have to leave it there. Thanks for coming on this morning and sharing your views.
Thank you, Chuck.
Coming up, how